Good evening, Fernwood. It's your old pal Neil, and it's time to spend a good old time going back to 1976 to watch Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today's episode comes from May 27th, 1976. Let's do our recap. We start with Loretta and Mary catching up about the situation. Mary recently went to a priest to get some absolution for sleeping with Dennis, though she doesn't necessarily make that very clear to Loretta. Loretta gets very excited and says that she is going to bring over Jimmy Joe Jeter to have some absolution and to offer absolution for Mary. Mary protests at this, but Loretta seems set in her ways. Taking it to the factory, Tom and Charlie are very excited because Tom is back. At least Charlie is excited and playful. Tom signs a piece of paperwork brought down by a gay employee, and that sparks a conversation between the two of them about recent Supreme Court case that allowed states to make sodomy illegal. That was not stated in the text of the show. That was something I had to research afterward, but that was something that was a current event in 1976. As that conversation progresses just a bit, Ed McCullough comes in, and Ed, being the closeted gay man that the audience knows that he is, states his point of view, and I think that's really helpful. Tom kind of takes Ed's side, and Charlie is just kind of feeling that pity. He's feeling pity for gay people because of the situation going on. Maybe not the most progressive point of view, but definitely better than I think some points of view that may have existed at that time. After that, we get a closer visit with the McCulloughs, Ed and Howard, as Ed really wants to push towards coming out again. And apparently, this has been the reason for the fights that have made them move over the last 2 years that they've been together. Then Betty comes in and is supportive, but also still pushing towards staying in the closet. Finally, we have a scene with Mary where Jimmy Joe Jeter shows up and they have some pray time together, even though I think Mary, if I could read the subtext, feels like it's kind of ridiculous. That is our recap, so let us get started with the May 27th, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Do you think that the Reverend Jimmy Joe is helping Mary to see the light and the truth?
I'm sure the boy will be able to lead Mrs. Hartman to the Lord. Unless, of course, she's just a completely lost soul.
Oh, no, she's not. I mean, she, did a little teeny bit of sinning and stuff, but I mean, she's not completely lost. She just kind of strayed off a little bit, off the road, kind of.
Well, life is so full of roads that lead to perdition that a person actually needs guidance to follow the straight and narrow path between right and wrong.
That is so true, isn't it, Charlotte? Honey, why are you looking so glum?
Honey, I ain't glum. I just I'm not much one for one to give opinions about the Lord, that's all. I mean, I figured he's had more experience running the world than I have.
Well, that's for sure, Mr. Haggers, but of course, we have to listen to his word when it comes through the lips of one of his chosen speakers.
Like the Reverend Jimmy Joe.
Right.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Not at all, sir.
How is a body to know who the Lord has chosen to speak for him? I mean, what is to prevent me from hanging out a sign saying, Charlie Haggers, speaker for the Lord, office hours by appointment?
Well, now, Charlie, honey, you ain't hinting that there's a doubt in your mind that Reverend Jimmy Joe isn't the Lord's chosen.
I'm not hinting nothing, Loretta. I'm just asking a question.
Well, honey, I'm sure that if he wasn't the Lord's chosen, I mean, the Lord wouldn't help Reverend Jimmy Joe earn all that money, from his love offerings, right?
Which she is then going to use for his great project.
Right.
His great project.
Condos for Christ.
Yeah, is that where all the money's going to go? Into building condominiums?
Absolutely, right after deducting a little operating expenses. Well, here we go right now. Hi, son. Did you finish your ministry to Mrs. Hartman?
Yes, sir. I'm not too late to give the blessing for dinner, am I?
Oh, no, dinner ain't quite ready yet. It'll be a little while.
Good.
Well, so, how'd did you do with Mrs. Hartman? Did you get her to see the light in the way?
It's all in the hands of the Lord, Mrs. Haggers.
Right. I'm sure I mean, I didn't mean to snoop or anything, because I realize that a conversation between a preacher and his parishioner is probably confidential and private. No, like a doctor and a patient.
Jimmy Joe actually does strive to cure the sicknesses of the soul.
Well, forgive me, because I didn't mean to pry,
I forgive you.
Oh, thanks. Well, Reverend, I have a little present for you here. See, I went to the store, and the lady at the store told me, she said, this present is suitable for a child between the ages of 8 and 11. And you're between those ages. Now, I realize, of course, that you're not an ordinary child between the ages of 8 and 11. But anyway, the lady said, this will be okay for you. So, this is for you.
What do you do there, son? Hey, wait a minute, boy. What do you say?
Thank you, Mrs. Haggers.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope you like it.
Oh, I always wanted one of these.
Loretta, do you think maybe this is a good time for you to sing for the Reverend and his father? Sing the song we were talking about, the one we want to record, the Vitamin L?
Charlie, I don't know if I'm going to be making that record, really, because, Reverend Jimmy Joe got a message from the Lord that I should devote all of my time to the World Missionary Center. Oh yeah, except you said that there might have been some trouble or error or something in the message, like maybe some technical difficulties in the audio portion.
Absolutely. See, that does happen occasionally.
Yeah. Well, if it should turn out, that there was a mistake in the message and that I'm supposed to make a record, of course I'll make it, but I will be giving all my royalties over to the Reverend's sacred work.
Now, honey, that is not something that we have come to a firm decision on just yet. I have no objection, you mind, to Loretta tithing for the church. Like giving a portion of her income to the church, but I don't rightly see where there's any call to give the whole kit and caboodle.
Charlie, honey, there's too much love between us to argue about something like money. We'll just wait till we get a message from on high.
How do you propose to do that, honey?
Well, we'll wait for a sign.
Actually, we really don't have to wait at all. All we have to do is ask the Lord for a sign right now. We can do that.
We can?
Sure, I'll just ask Jimmy Joe to speak to the Lord. Jimmy Joe? Jimmy Joe, come here, son.
Yes, sir.
Come here, boy. Listen to me now. Do you remember my telling you about the struggle that Mrs. Haggers has been having with her soul?
Struggle?
About whether or not to make that recording. Son, what is it that the Lord wants her to do?
Whatever is right, I guess.
Jimmy Joe, we did talk about this once before, remember? You told me you were going to get a message from the Lord about whether or not Mrs. Haggers should just go ahead and make the record and then give all her royalties to us for our work for the Lord. All her royalties, remember?
Yes, Lord, I hear you. I hear it's a message is coming through. Yes, I hear you, Lord, and thy will be done. Thy will be done.
Well, what was thy will? What was his will?
The Lord says, make the record.
What about the money?
He says, give it all to the worldwide missionary crusade.
Amen.
Amen.
Doggone.
I really think you should let your hair grow. You'd look adorable in a Beatle cut.
Don't be silly. I'm practically as old as all the Beatles put together.
I really love the Beatles, especially that Ringo. He is so cute and cuddly. Now that's somebody I'd really go for.
Nothing to think about boys again, huh? It's a good thing you decided not to become a nun.
Well, that cute priest, he said I wasn't exactly the nun type.
If you want to join the religion, how about the Salvation Army? You could always have fun banging those tambourines.
I didn't want to become a nun for the religious part. I'm not interested in religion.
That's like buying Playboy and not being interested in girls. I look at it once in a while on the newsstand, just to see if anything happens to me. Nothing ever does. So I don't buy it.
Huh. Well, there it goes. It's all done. Here, look at this. Is that beautiful?
Fine.
Masterpiece. Mwah. Well, I think I'm going to go and watch some TV. There's nothing better to do.
Don't be feel bad because you didn't marry that policeman, what's his name? I never did trust him after he booked me on that false charge of being a Fernwood flasher. How about a peanut butter sandwich? That's a sure cure for depression.
No thank you, Grandpa. I think I'm just gonna watch a little TV.
Come in.
Good evening. I'm Father DeMarco.
Business must be pretty bad if you're selling bingo party tickets door to door. We're not Catholic, but you're welcome to a peanut butter sandwich anyway.
Oh, no, thank you. Actually, I was looking for Miss Shumway.
Oh, Kathy, I'll call her.
Thank you.
Kathy, somebody here to see you. Other things.
Things,
You know, church business.
well, business is fine, thank you.
Oh, good evening,
Good
Father
evening.
DeMarco.
Good evening.
You met my grandfather.
Yeah, we were just talking church business. What are the chances for advancement?
Advancement?
Well, you know, a young fellow like you, what are the chances of becoming a bishop?
We don't spend much time thinking about that, sir.
Why not? Everybody's always looking for promotion. It's the American way. Hey, I bet that the competition for that top spot is something fierce. How much does he get anyway? I'll bet it's plenty, especially if he has to supply his own uniform.
Grandpa, Rhoda's on if you want to watch it.
Oh, yeah, I like that show.
So do I. I think Valerie Harper, boy, she's an excellent actress. She's...
The one I like is a mother, a mighty attractive woman.
So would you like a cup of tea?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm not much of a tea drinker.
Really? I thought all priests drink tea. You know, they always have the faithful housekeeper coming and pouring the cup of tea in all those movies. Movies about priests.
Well, I guess I'm an exception, and I don't have a housekeeper.
Oh. Well, would you like a beer, or is that against the rules?
Oh, no, really, thank you. I wouldn't care for anything, but I appreciate it.
Would you like to sit down?
Yeah, thank you. What I would like to do is talk to you about what you're going to do with your life. That's why I came over.
What I'm going to do with my life?
Yes, you remember the last time we spoke, I suggested the possibility of your getting into television?
Yeah, but I didn't think you really meant it. I mean, not that I thought you lied. Priests don't lie, but I just didn't think you really meant it.
No, I really did. I feel you have a personality that would really come through on television. I mean, you're open and effervescent and obviously honest, and, well, you're certainly attractive.
You really mean that? Oh, you're just saying that because I was really depressed when I came to your office because my wedding was canceled, and you're just trying to comfort me now as a part of your church business.
Miss Shumway, do you know Clete Meisenheimer?
No, I don't know him. I've seen him on broadcasts and stuff, and he interviewed me and my sister once when she was being held captive at the Chinese laundry. But I don't know him personally.
Well, I do. As a matter of fact, we went to school together.
Really? So you know Clete Meisenheimer? That's very interesting. What's he really like?
Oh, I'm very fond of him. And I think you would be too. He's a wonderful fella, and I'm sure he'd like you. So I want you to meet him.
Why?
Well, I think he can help you break into television. And, in fact, if it's all right with you, I'll arrange for an appointment.
Oh, that would be very nice. I'd like that. Thank you.
Great. All right, so I'll call him tomorrow, and then I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Father.
You're welcome. I was wondering if you could do something for me.
Sure, what?
Well, it makes me a little uncomfortable when young people like you call me father. I wonder if you'd mind calling me Frank.
Sure, Frank.
Thank you, Miss Shumway.
Kathy.
Kathy.
Fernwood Hospital? Oh, this isn't the emergency number, is it? I mean, because this is not an emergency, this call, and I just don't want to talk an emergency number because I know how many dead people you deal with, and I do know how important emergencies are, especially when they're really emergency. Every minute counts. So I'm going to try to get right to the minute here, okay? Now, I just would like some information about Sergeant Foley. Sergeant Foley, F-O-L-E-Y. Yes, how is he? Yes. Okay. Hello? What? Oh, you're going to release him tomorrow? Well, that's wonderful. No, I mean, that's wonderful how quickly you cured him. My congratulations. No, I don't want to speak to him. You just leave a message that I'm very glad that he's being released. My name? Oh, just say a friend. A very guilty friend.
Hi, Mary. You got a few minutes?
Sure. Hi, Howard.
How are you?
Do you mean that honestly or politely? Because, you know, a lot of people ask that very politely, and they just say, you know, how are you? And they expect you to say, I'm fine, how are you? So if you mean it honestly, I'm not.
I'm sorry for what you're going through, Mary.
Can I ask you a personal question, Howard?
Sure.
I mean, it's personal to me, it's not personal to you. A lot of times when people ask personal questions, they're personal to the person they're asking them to, but this is personal to me, so I hope you don't mind.
Oh, of course I don't mind. What's the question, Mary?
How's Tom?
Mary, he's miserable. I think he'd like very much to make up with you.
Really? Did you speak to him? I mean, did he say that?
Well, he didn't say anything.
I mean, you just think that he thinks that.
Right.
Oh.
You do want to make up with him, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. I do more than anything else in the world. I mean, I can't think of anything I want more in the world than to make up with Tom. Except maybe Robert Redford. And Tom could watch it, it wouldn't make him jealous.
Jealousy's a sign of love, you know.
I know love is just so complicated. It's just so funny. I mean, I know Tom's mad at me because he loves me. I know that. Just marriage is just so difficult. Especially if two people love each other.
Yeah, it's like a lot of our institutions that aren't working the way they're supposed to work. Actually, a lot of modern man's institutions are falling apart.
You read Reader's Digest, huh?
No.
Really? Because there was an article in there about that very... It was about traditions and institutions.
Actually, I never read the Reader's Digest.
You must have great teeth.
What?
Well, I mean, the only place I get to read Reader's Digest is in the dentist's office, in the waiting room.
Mary, I'd like you to do me a favor.
What?
Make up with Tom.
Well, you can't make up with someone you can't talk to, and you can't talk to someone if he's not around. He's not around if he's not living here. And he's living here from your place, which, by the way, I really do want to thank you for, because it was nice of you to put him up because he needed a place to go.
Mary, neither one of you is going to be happy until you're back together again. I want you to come over and make up.
I don't see why he doesn't make up with me. I mean, he's the one that moved out of here. He doesn't live here anymore. I still live here.
Take my advice, Mary, please. Now, you make the first move. You want him back, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I got his socks, you know.
Well, then come on over and make up with him. It's the only sensible thing to do.
know, it's interesting, Howard, after the way you put it, you know what I think? It's the only sensible thing to do. Oh, Howard. Oh, you're an adorable baby. Oh, that's just beautiful.
Yeah, I wonder where all my good looks went.
Why? I find you a very attractive man. I just can't help wondering why you never got married. I mean, I'm sure that women must be after you all the time, huh?
That's the way it goes. Oh, look. Picture of me when I was in high school.
Oh, what a good-looking boy. You know what I can't help wondering? How come there are no pictures of Ed in here?
He has a separate album. Mother made separate albums for both of us.
Really? What a very interesting idea. See, now, I can't understand why anyone would do that, but that's a very interesting idea. Very interesting.
Tom?
No, here it's me.
Oh, hi, Mother. We got company in the den.
Oh, hello, Mary. I've just come from a wonderful theosophy meeting.
Theosophy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that a religion?
Well, it's more a way of life.
Oh, really? Because I'm very interested in ways of life.
Oh, well, maybe you'd like to come to a meeting with me sometime.
Well, I would, but just not for a while yet, because right now I'm trying to figure out what went wrong with my way of life.
Oh.
Mother, you have any idea where Tom and Ed are?
They went to a baseball game. They would have asked you to go along, but Ed knows how much you hate baseball.
So do I. Yes. I mean, I don't really hate it. I don't hate it. I mean, it is the great American pastime. I mean, it is a very exciting game. All those men running around, you know, hitting balls and everything like that. I mean, after all, what's to hate? I just can't stand it.
Well, I don't really hate it either, Mary, but, I sure can think of a lot of more worthwhile ways to spend my time.
Well, I guess Tom won't be back till later, so I guess I better go now. If I don't go now, Heather's home alone, and you know, when she's home alone, she gets into the munchies, and when she gets into the munchies, then it's bad for her complexion. So, I just want to thank you. I really had a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks for a nice time.
So did I.
Okay.
Good night, Mary.
Good night.
Nice
Daddy.
seeing you again. Please come often.
Oh, thank you very much. I really had a good time. Thank you, Howard.
Good night.
Howard. Good night.
Good
Daddy.
night. Good night, Mary.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
A
I really
pleasure.
did have a good time.
Please
Thanks.
come again.
Oh, okay. Thanks very much. Have a bye.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, you and Mary certainly seem to be enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, she's upset. I'm just trying to help her out with her problems.
Oh, she's very nice. You do like her, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's important that two people have so much in common. I mean, the way you two have about baseball. And that always makes for a good relationship when two people have the same things in common.
What do you got on your mind, Mother?
Nothing. Nothing. I just think it's wonderful the way you and Mary have become such good friends.
Well, she's easy to get along with, and she's the only neighbor I've gotten close to.
The only woman.
Now, don't you go getting any ideas, Mother.
Ooh-wee. We have a lot going on there. It starts with Loretta offering all of the money for vitamin L, and of course, Jimmy Joe is going to say, give all the money to us instead of tithing. And, well, I don't even know. I guess Charlie still has a job, so they'll be able to pay for the house and all of the various bills, but still, that's a lot of potential money that they could be getting, that some of which could go to the church. I don't think it's a bad thing to donate to churches, even though I don't necessarily believe in them. I'm just like, oh, they're clearly getting swindled. Not that we see any actual money, but she's promised the potential of money to the church, and that's just weird to me. And speaking of weird, then we get a visit from the priest to Kathy, and I don't remember his name, but apparently he knows Cleet Meisenheimer, who, I miss seeing that guy. Cleet has interviewed Kathy, has interviewed various members of the cast, but I'm confused. Apparently, the priest is urging Kathy towards a television career. I feel like there's a little bit of chemistry going on there, and I don't know what kind of storyline that might lead to. So I guess we will see. Then we get to Mary and being really excited that Dennis is getting released. Maybe she feels bad that he had a heart attack and wants him to feel better. I think there may be some other feelings intertwined with that good feeling of relief. And then we see Howard come over for a visit. And I think last time I saw them together, I felt like Howard listened to Mary with very little agenda. And in this case, that might also be true, but I also do feel like Howard is looking to protect his secret that we didn't know about last time. And getting Tom out of the house might help protect that secret. Well, I don't know. I do feel like they are genuine friends, and I don't feel like. I do know that Howard wants Tom out of the house, but I don't feel like he was just blowing smoke up her butt. So then we get to see Mary over at the McCulloughs, and Mary kind of questioning why Ed is not in the baby photo picture album. Of course, Howard has to cover that. And then we get Betty in, and Betty seems to be doing something I think which is really gross, which is to urge Howard towards Mary in a romantic sense. I just feel like it makes sense for someone of that generation to be doing so, but it's just an ugly, ugly thought to me. And I hope that whatever actions get spurred on from this moment are not horrible, but I guess we will see how horrible it could be. And that was the May 27th, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you for coming back and having a good old time with me, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.